This is Luke Paulson, the Catholic Conservative, and welcome to the news of the week for January 6th, 2024. And if you enjoy these videos, do not forget to like, comment, and most importantly, subscribe for more. Remember 2020? There was a rash of respiratory illnesses in China all last month. Why do I mention that? After all, it is their problem to deal with. I mention it because there were a few cases in 2020 of an outbreak near one particular virology lab. Soon the entire world was torn apart over the respiratory virus in question. This was during a presidential election year.
Coincidence? I think not!
Either way, just some things to consider as we go into another election year. Bayer and the Nazis. I saw this on Joe Rogan's podcast, and so I thought that I would keep spreading it out there. Something tells me that most of you do not know about it, since fake news outlets like CNN have to manipulate the video to disprove him. It was revealed that there was a drug company that asked the Nazis for test subjects for a new drug. They were given 150 subjects to test. All of them died, and then this company was given more. This company eventually became Bayer. These pharmaceutical companies are not interested in healing people, but in creating perpetual clients. Painkillers do not address the cause of the headache, they just mask the pain. The medical industrial complex, as Eisenhower put it, is not to be trusted. Challenger to Putin. This woman with an unpronounceable name is officially challenging Putin for the presidency of Russia. Officially, she is an anti-war candidate. I will believe that when I see it. Something tells me that Putin is working on a way to make her disappear without causing too much of a ruckus. However, one fact and one fact alone is crystal clear. If she wins, the Democrats might have to find another country with a war to endlessly fund. Breaking laws over climate change. Mayorkas has decided to blame something for the massive number of illegals that are crossing the border. He knows that he cannot blame the policies of the Biden administration, nor can he blame Brandon himself. Instead, he has decided that the talking point is that these people are fleeing global warming. Global warming, something that will kill us all, even if the models never come to fruition. In other words, these people are surging our border over a problem that does not even exist. It has nothing to do with Democrats laying out the welcome mat and shipping them all over the country with the promise of welfare in exchange for votes. It has everything to do with imaginary climate change. These military-aged men are congregating in Phoenix, Arizona. Secret Center in Phoenix. It is no secret that the Democrat Party is working to undermine America from the ground up. They use political correctness to get rid of our institutions. They also have a lot of funny business that I am not allowed to talk about on YouTube. They also corrupt our elections at every opportunity. They want as many illegals to cross the border as possible. And now, thanks to James O'Keefe with OMG, we now know that they have what amounts to a secret base in Phoenix, Arizona. Buses arrive every hour on the hour to get illegals on planes to be distributed all over the country. Since Brandon can no longer transport the illegals in the dead of night on military aircraft, he is depending on the private sector to do the job. The illegals even admit that they are voting for Brandon because they believe he is giving them this opportunity. And they also believe the propaganda that President Trump hates Mexicans. Mayorkas wants as many of these military-aged men to cross as possible. Gay is out. After a term of 6 months, Claudine Gay is no longer the president of Harvard University. However, she is still there making nearly $1 million a year. She has been demoted to Professor of African American Studies. What a prestigious and important position! It is no wonder that they made her president. Officially, she was terminated over her plagiarism, however, that is just not true. She was fired over her anti-Semitic remarks, specifically because a lot of big-name donors were no longer giving to the university. Harvard knew about this plagiarism for a long time, but just sat on it. Once it came to light that she made these comments, these plagiarism charges were brought out of the woodwork so that we would focus on them. Either way, higher education is proving more and more to be a waste of money. But I do want to talk about the hero that started this movement to deprive Harvard of their donations. The evil rich guy. Bill Ackman is a very wealthy hedge fund manager and Harvard alumni. Before Gay openly supported genocide, he was a donor to the university. However, he led the campaign for donors to stop giving until Gay was fired. Officially, Gay was fired after a weaponized response by conservatives to plagiarism, but nothing about that is true. Even more stunning is that Ackman previously supported DEI, but thanks to this, does not. Mark Dice claims that he has the potential to be a conservative George Soros. Just like the America First legal that sues companies over their anti-whiteism. Will this be enough to stem the tide or stop the evil?
Only Poppins would know.
Speaking of supposedly evil rich people, Trump charges dropped. A U.S. district judge has dropped 3 of the 5 charges against President Trump in regards to the mostly peaceful protest of January 6th. The 2 charges that remain are conspiracy to violate civil rights and the D.C. Survival Act. Since there is not one shred of evidence by which the deep state can prove that President Trump orchestrated anything, any honest judge would drop these charges. However, we do not have an honest justice system. It has been 3 years, and the Capitol Police who let the people in and gave tours are still not arrested. Meanwhile, those who are let in and got tours are still behind bars. The D.C. Survival Act basically states that President Trump is responsible for the death of one of the Capitol Police officers, even though this officer died a few days later. It had nothing to do with the mostly peaceful protest of January 6th. The trial is fast approaching. Although Nikki Haley promised to pardon President Trump, she cannot be trusted. President Trump needs to choose a VP that he can trust above all else. Mike Pence and Nikki Haley are definitely not up for the job. Speaking of unjust judges, journalists sued by butchers. A few years ago, journalists found that Planned Parenthood was selling human organs on the black market. They went through painstaking research to confirm everything. In the end, none of their claims were disputed and everything was found to be just as they described. As their reward for doing this, they were sued by the aforementioned butchers for $16 million. An amount that no person could ever have a hope of paying. Officially, people were filmed without their consent and all sorts of other nonsense charges. In reality,
It's not about money. It's about sending a message.
the goal of Planned Parenthood was to ensure that no one would ever cross them again. Now let us talk about another high-stakes trial. Epstein Associates released. The list of Epstein's clients has yet to be released, if it will be released at all. However, we do have a list of a few known associates. Bill Clinton, Donald Trump, Michael Jackson, Sarah Kellen, Jean-Luc Brunel, Bill Richardson, Leslie Wexner, Glenn Dubin, Alan Dershowitz, and Marvin Minsky. Most of these have officially denied association, and the claims that Donald Trump had anything to do with Epstein professionally have been thoroughly debunked. Also, this is not a list of clients, but associates. The victims will not have justice in this life unless every single one of these clients is named. If President Trump and other conservatives were on this list, it would have been released by now. Either way, even if not a single one of the names is ever released, the clients, like Epstein and Maxwell, will have to stand before the Almighty for judgment. Maybe I'm just blowing smoke. Maybe I'm completely off my rocker, but that is just my opinion. And do not forget to like, comment, and most importantly, subscribe for more. But before you go, on the left I have last week's video, but you may also enjoy the video on the right.